Kia ora, Koto. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 42 of Only a Podcast. Say hello, Captain.
Hello, Captain. It's the meaning of life. 42.
Is it number 42?
42.
It is too, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I found that book in a bottom of a box a couple of weeks ago. I've got the, it's a trilogy, isn't it? Is it not a 4-book trilogy or something?
Yeah.
So I've got the big, all-in-one book. But I think I only ever read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't think I ever read the rest, so I'll pick that up. Yeah.
God,
I've recommended it to my teenage daughter, but you can't recommend anything to them, can you, kids? No,
they have to find it for themselves.
Yeah. It's quite funny because Miss 15, I don't know if I told you this, she's started playing the guitar now. She's quite into that. And she's actually in a band, got her first gig tomorrow night.
Whoa.
As lead singer, not guitarist. But yeah, it's not often you get to appear cool in front of kids of that age, especially girls, But she'll say, "Look, I'm starting to learn this. Do you know this one? It's Nirvana. Do you know Nirvana? It smells like Teen Spirit." And she's playing it all wrong, of course. So I grabbed the guitar. Oh, you mean this? Yeah, it's not often you can impress your kids at that age, but I think I've earned a few points there.
One way. Cool.
Anyway, what's on the show today?
What's on the show? He said, looking at the list. Well, we're going to complete our Mercury Prize exegesis with the remaining 4 albums.
Yep.
We're going to look at YouTube. We're going to briefly mention the Women's World Cup. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about a couple of radio things. One of which I only heard this morning.
Okay.
I'll talk about this.
Good.
So, yeah.
All right, lots to get through. So, Mercury's. Go.
Mercury's.
Let's go. Do you want to go?
Right.
You go.
Go on then. Benjamin Gerard Coyle Larner.
Oh.
Get it? Known professionally as Loyle Carner. He's done a spoonerism on his hyphenated.
What a shining wit.
Indeed.
Yeah.
He was born in 1994 in Lambeth.
Oh.
And he's basically a rapper, a sort of languid style rapper. And these are all adjectives that I've picked up from elsewhere because I couldn't be bothered to make my own analysis. Professional hip-hop, introspective, jazz-infused. He apparently regards American poet Langston Hughes and British poet Benjamin Zephaniah as inspirations. Good on Loyle. He's had his struggles with dyslexia and ADHD, and that runs through his lyrics on Hugo, which is his 3rd album and a number 3 album in the UK. And it was a Guardian 5-star full-on masterpiece. I don't know. Maybe I just really wasn't in the mood for it. But as we've said quite a few times, it's not our thing.
Yeah, it's not. And there is a lot of this when you say hip-hop, jazz-infused, all that stuff. There's a lot of that in the Mercuries every year. Maybe that's what music is now. Maybe that's the common thing, is it?
I think it is, as we will come to another album later, boundaries can be pushed. And I'm not sure this does, whether I've got the knowledge to work out whether it is or it isn't pushing any boundaries. But from some of the other ones I've heard, I don't think this one, albeit a masterpiece, in some people's eyes, is as good as other kind of rap-infused albums that we've already listened to on the list. But what do I know? He may even win, but it just didn't click with me at all. Whereas some of the other ones did.
Yeah.
And then with a heavy heart, I moved on to my last one because I thought, okay, let's go. Let's do it, Olivia Dean. Born in 1999 in Haringey, yet another Londoner. Is an English singer, began singing in collaboration with Rudimental. And she was named, I learnt, as Amazon Music's 2021 Breakthrough Artist of the Year. Cool. And this album is a debut. It went to number 4 in the UK. It's totally professional, well-produced, kind of new soul / pop album. Proper tunes, actual chord changes.
Yeah.
She has a range. And I'm going to say this again because this is what I like. She doesn't overplay it. There's not too many notes
good
per line and all that kind of thing. She lets the songs breathe, and I liked it. And I don't think it's going to win. Good on her for getting the nomination.
Yeah.
And an album I wouldn't mind playing again. Very, very well put together thing. Somebody, if she has a managerial force behind her, they're not doing anything wrong. This is quite a nice thing. Yeah.
Sounds like I haven't listened to this one. Sounds like I don't know if you listened to the two I talked about last time, Shy Girl and Ray.
A bit. Yeah,
it's a bit of that, isn't it? There's a lot of that. Throughout these, female solo artist urban stuff. But this is the one album on the list I definitely haven't listened to yet, so I'll give that a go.
It's probably I'm gonna say slightly easier listening than the previous ones, but that's probably doing it a huge disservice. That's not a bad thing. It's very listenable, very listenable.
Well, it's good. Give it a try. It's the point of it, right? Because a lot of if you go back to the Mercury Prize, some years ago, a lot of it wasn't very listenable. It was all very arch and avant-garde and all that. Speaking of which, you mentioned a review that used the word masterpiece. Well, I looked at the reviews of the two I'm looking at, and Guardian and Pitchfork and all that. The word masterpiece came up for both of these, so it's quite easy to get a masterpiece rating these days. I thought that used to be reserved for the White Album and things like that. But anyway, so experimental Young Fathers, heavy. I know you're a fan.
I am.
I was aware of them, as in I always see them on Glastonbury, and they always smash it at Glastonbury and those things. And so Young Fathers are a Scottish three-piece formed in Edinburgh. Aloysius Massaquoi, I suppose you pronounce that, K.S. Bankole, and Graham Hastings. Right, so a couple of guys of African descent and a white guy, and it's very experimental, lo-fi indie alternative. It's got like tribal beats and synths, and it's great. It's great, eh? It's
very hard to describe just how sort of all-encompassing it is. You can't pin it. You can't pin it to a genre.
No, you can't.
In a way, they're kind of their own.
Yeah. And it really is a mix of stuff, isn't it? Like I say, you got the urban. There's obviously an African influence from these two lads, from their family background with the rhythms. But there's rap and vocals, and check out Young Fathers. Have a look at them rather than just listening. Go YouTube and look at some of their performances on later with Jules Holland and Glastonbury and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd love to see them live.
I would. I hope they do some world touring, but who knows?
Yeah.
The previous album was Cocoa Sugar, and that's very good too. I listened to that a lot when it came out, and if you look down the list of my played stuff on Spotify or wherever, Young Fathers are probably the newest band, the highest up the list.
Yeah.
Because I just caned Cocoa Sugar and this one too.
It's really great stuff, isn't it? And we'll come on to predictions later. And the other one, my final one, was an album called I Love You, Jennifer B., which is a debut album from an outfit called Jockstrap. Terrible name.
They're really running out of names, aren't they?
Well, they got a lot of flack for it because it's a term of abuse and it's kind of a bit, but they've defended it, reclaiming the whatever. So they're called Jockstrap, terrible name, but they're a London-based duo, Georgia Ellery and Taylor Skye, who met whilst at music school at the Guildhall School of Music. So they're proper musicians. Taylor Skye is a violinist and things like that, and Georgia Ellery's the vocalist and violinist and stuff like that. And you've got Taylor Skye, who's a producer, I think they call him, a computer person for music. And again, this is great stuff. I really dig music like this because it sounds like they made it in their bedroom. That's not to say it's not high quality, but it's not. I mean, it's lo-fi, in that sense. Those sort of broken beats and all that kind of stuff, you do on your computer. But there's violins and strings and guitars and acoustic guitars and things on there as well. And if you like Cocteau Twins, Portishead, Massive Attack, Yeah, that whispery female vocal. Think that along those lines.
Good.
I really liked it as well, and I have listened to this a few times before I had to review it. So I was starting to get a bit familiar with it. But no, it's a good record. That they've done some high-profile support slots. I think they've been touring with Blur, and they've done some. Yeah, so good band again.
Yeah.
Maybe they might be a household name for all I know. Everyone might know who they are, but they're new to me.
Yeah, I'll get on to that one as well. It sounds
but I don't think it's going to
good in it.
Yeah, it's all right. Like I say, it's that kind of Portishead thing, but not 21st century. Let's say 2020s version of Portishead. Yeah, but I've really enjoyed. I've been able to give a bit more time to them because last year we both did all 12 albums, didn't we? And it was a bit much, I think. Yeah. So I've been able to give these a bit more time, and I really enjoyed doing this. And I'll move on to the ones I haven't heard yet from your list, and maybe in another future episode before the final, we'll give our predictions. Who we think's going to win, and who we would like to win.
Yeah, cool.
Oh yeah, good. Check them out, folks.
Do that.
Yeah. I stumbled across a YouTube channel the other day just by accident. I shared it with you straight away because there was one video and I thought, oh, gosh, she's really good. So again, I think she's quite well known actually amongst certain section of society. She goes by the name of StuntPegg on YouTube. Real name is Nieve Petruzziello. Italian background. You can tell by looking at her. 23-year-old Bolton Wanderers fan, and she does mini documentaries, I suppose. So you call them, handheld mobile phone. What would you call it? Not a documentary, like travelogue vlogging, but football matches. Mostly football matches. I think it's all football matches. So she did a good one. The one that I saw about Bury FC and the fall and rise of Bury FC, and she went to. I watched another one where she was at the Etihad Stadium, and I've watched a couple of others. And they're just great little 15-minute.
How do
really
Europe too?
She goes to Europe.
She went to Latvia, where hardly anyone watched just football. Yeah, apparently.
That's right. Yeah,
it's a small country anyway. And Poland as well.
Yeah,
Poland.
Vitiev Lodz one was
that was
a great one, wasn't it?
Łódź, not Lodz.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know.
Pronounce your Polish names properly.
So she's really good if you like amateur vlog documentary type things about a sort of offbeat football. Apparently,
you learned something.
Yeah, her first video to reach 500,000 views was she captured the moment that Bolton scored an 88th minute winner to stay in the championship. That's her team. So I haven't watched that one yet, but I've been spending a bit of time watching her videos. Good.
Yeah, it was great. It's great. I watched a few as well.
Yeah, good stuff.
Cool. Yeah.
Over to you, Captain.
Okay, over to me. Quickly, because I mentioned it before in an episode, but it's so long ago now that I can't even remember when it was, but it's a long time. Just to say that series 2 of the podcast, Alexei Sayle's Strangers on a Train.
Oh yeah,
is fully out there now on BBC Sounds and elsewhere, of course. And it basically is what it says in the title. Alexei Sayle gets on the train. The train announces that Alexei Sayle is on the train and would like to just have a chat with folks. And he wanders through the train, talks to people, and edits it down for all the interesting stuff. And some of it is genuinely interesting, the people he finds out there. And, it's great. They all love to talk to him, and he draws things out of them. It's really good. I listened to it first when I was in the hospital and just sitting there in my bed and wanted something to listen to. And I'm going to get stuck into series 2. Now it's all out there, I think. 6 episodes on BBC Sounds.
Oh, good stuff.
And I've also been listening to radio, which I mostly do in the car. And out this morning on Radio New Zealand 9 to noon with Catherine Ryan, there came upon an interview with the novelist David Keenan, who's from Scotland, and he's in New Zealand for a Christchurch event, the Word Festival. Generally about all his books. He used to be a music journalist, writing for The Wire and Melody Maker and things like that. But he'd always sort of tried to start writing eventually finished his first book and infamously destroyed it because it was crap.
Fair enough.
not just by deleting the file, but by getting his laptop and a hammer and smashing the crap out of it until it never worked. So that was kind of a cathartic thing. And he carried on writing throughout the years without ever really pursuing publishing. He sort of admits that he didn't really do it, so he just kept writing. So he had this big stock of stuff. So when he did get his debut novel, This Is Memorial Device, published,
Right. Okay.
he had lots of things to follow up with. And quickly, that novel is set in Airdrie in Scotland in the sort of early 80s, based on a fictional band called Memorial Device, which seems to have infiltrated Twitter and various things. I am a Memorial Device alternative national treasure.
And I'm not, because I'm a bit crap, but we need to get the podcast on that list.
I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
Even has a beer. There's a beer called Memorial, named after the band. It's a fictional band. I hesitate. I must say, if I didn't say that earlier. And just legions of Memorial Devicers are out there. He's done a novel called For the Good Times, which is about the troubles in Belfast. He's made the book a long list. There are several other books out there, and music sort of trickles all the way through his writing. And he said on the radio this morning, and I won't say too much about it, that he likes his books to be read in the same way as someone will put on an album and listen to it. I think that's quite an interesting thought. The books, he was very reluctant to analyse what he thought people got from his books, like people do.
Yeah.
He just basically said, well, there it is. It's a thing. You listen to it. You get out of it what you get out of it. I'm not going to tell you what this is about or whatever. I think that's a pretty interesting way to go about things. So I also, New Zealand media thinks or loves to promote things that non-New Zealanders like about New Zealand. So it was mentioned that the Dead Sea, who were on Flying Nun experimental band, is one of David Keenan's favourite bands. So that's that, and I'll chuck a link to the 25-minute interview, which is online on our website. And I would recommend anyone interested in books and writing and all that stuff, listen to Mr. Keenan talk about how he does it, because I thought it was great. At one point, I had to just sort of sit in the car, things to do during the morning. But I thought, no. I'm sorry. I know it'll be online late. I know it'll be online later, but I will listen to it now.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's good. It's very good.
You get some really good people on RNZ National, don't you? You get some really good interviews.
You do. They're wide ranging.
Music. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, Kim Hill interviewed Wilco Johnson a while back when he was on this planet. It's just it's sort of amazing things happen on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Who did I hear the other day?
It's really good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so all right. So at the Edinburgh Fringe, every year they give an award for the funniest joke, and this caught my eye the other day. A headline. Comedian wins Edinburgh Fringe funniest joke for wins award for zookeeper joke, right?
Okay.
And I thought, I know a brilliant joke, a zookeeper joke. I know a great one, but I thought it was meant to be an original joke.
Oh,
so so I know. I think this might have caused a few ripples in the comedy world because. Oh no, she hasn't stolen the joke, by the way. I'll come to that in a sec. But my good buddy, comedy legend John Mann, I noticed posted something about it on his Facebook this morning. But the joke is this: so the comedian is Lorna Rose Treen, who I don't know, but the joke is this: I started dating a zookeeper, but it turned out he was a cheater. It's not very good. I don't like coming on here and saying things that aren't very good, but. I don't think it's a great joke, is it? The best joke that any comedian did at the whole festival was that.
I suppose it's one they could print.
Well, yeah.
But even so, I mean, wasn't there a list of about 10? I did remember reading it, and I can't remember any
and one
of the
others.
One of them I remember that one, to be honest.
It definitely wasn't. One of them I read on that list, they'd taken it from The Simpsons, which was, to paraphrase Homer Simpson, "I'm sorry, but I never apologise." Well, I would never apologise. I'm sorry, that's the way I am, or something like that. That's a Homer Simpson line, right? And that got me thinking. So you get tribute bands, tribute acts, Elvis impersonators, Tom Jones impersonators, bootleg Beatles. You never get comedian tribute acts, do you? Imagine that.
No,
someone who looked like and sounded like Billy Connolly and went on tour completely reproducing the Billy Connolly set, doing cover versions of Billy Connolly jokes. How that would work. Hello. We job here. Yeah.
I don't. The nearest thing I can think about that was and I can't remember the name of the guys. I can look it up later. There was a Morecambe and Wise.
Oh, but that was a stage show. That was like a bio, it wasn't really. You're not. Thing.
They're not there doing the Arsenal kind of jokes. All that kind of stuff.
Just imagine, Billy at the Royal Albert Hall, for example, that performance, and someone just went out and just did a cover version of it in little clubs around the country. You never see that. So put that on your list, comedy impresarios. So this guy gets a job as a zookeeper. This is the real stuff. This guy gets a job as a zookeeper. The first day, so he says, "What do you want me to do?" He said, "Well, he's mucking out. First day, mucking out, cleaning up, So he said, "The first cage over there is full of finches. Just go muck out the finch cage." So he goes over there. He starts mucking out, and one of these finches flies into his head, and he hits it. It flies into his head, and he kills it. Oh shit! I've killed it. Picks it up. The lion cage is next door. Throws it over the fence. The lions will eat it. No one will ever know. So he finishes up and he goes back to the boss. He says, "Well, I'm done in there. What next?" He said, "The chimps, go muck out the chimps." So he goes to the chimp cage with his broom and his spade, and he starts mucking out the chimps. And one of them comes for him, attacks him. So he gets a spade, whacks his chimp over the head. Shit, killed it. But, I know, I'll throw it to the lions, they'll eat it. No one will know. So he throws it over the fence to the lions. And he goes back to, "Right, I'm done with the chimps. What's next?" Just the bees, all the beehives over there. Just go clean out the beehives. So he goes into the bee enclosure and starts cleaning out the bees. And of course, they swarm him and he's in trouble. So he gets his spade and he smashes all these bees into the ground. He's like, "Oh, crap, I'm going to be in trouble here." So he scoops them up, throws them over, feeds them to the lions. No one will ever know. So that's his day done. So that night, there's an arrival, a truck. A new lion been moved from another zoo. This new lion arrives, and he walks into the lion enclosure, and he says, "All right, I'm new here. I've just arrived." "Oh yeah, all right." He says, "So what's it like here? Good zoo? Is it all right?" He said, "Yeah. The others say it's all right. It's a nice zoo." "What's the food like?" Food's pretty good. I mean, just earlier today we had finch, chimps, and mushy bees." Thank you. That's a zookeeper joke.
Very much.
No, I thought he was a cheater.
Better than the other one.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I can't claim it as my own.
No. I'm going to fish out that the list of the 10 most popular Edinburgh Fringe jokes.
I've got it right in front of me, mate.
You will. I've got it right in front of me. We should link to it on the website, and maybe people could even tell us which one they like best.
Well, I always remember the Tim Vine one, where he's the second-hand TV. Yeah, I saw a second-hand TV for sale. It was only £10, but the volume was. It said, "Warning: the volume is stuck on maximum." He said, "Well, I can't turn that down." Yeah. That's Tim Vine all over. A lot of Tommy Cooper jokes in quote marks. Tim Vine jokes just misattributed. I know you see that on the socials. Classic Tommy Cooper lines, and it's a line about a laptop or something. So, hang on.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
And one day we'll talk about classic, legendary comedians.
Yeah, we've had that on the list for quite a while.
No, but were they really that good? Talk about Morecambe and Wise, and anyone could name you 15 minutes of Morecambe and Wise content.
Yeah.
I think the rest of it was probably quite poor because you watch some Tommy Cooper shows and it's like a lot of this is absolute garbage. It's only when he's doing the magic that it's any good.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, we'll get to that in the future
we'll come to
episodes.
that another day, right? Okay.
I mean, Ken Dodd did 3 hours, every night.
He did. Yeah.
So some of that's got to be variable.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't talk about the World Cup finally.
No, we didn't talk about that.
Have you got any more on your list? I think I'm done on my side.
No, particularly. I've got a rant, but I think
go on, do a rant.
I won't bother ranting. Okay, I just want to know this, and maybe somebody can tell me if there is a reason. Having looked around for some tickets today, or I was trying to find out how much tickets for a gig by The Weeknd are, and why don't ticket companies advertise the price of the tickets until they go on sale? I would quite like to know how much it's going to cost, but not just until they go on sale, until you get to the end of the queue. Because I was there in the queue this morning, I thought, I'll just get on. And there's various ticket pre-sales, that's just merely the first pre-sale. There's allowed 3 or 4 before you get to the real one. Yeah. Which is fair enough. So I thought, okay, I'll go on. And earlier this morning, I thought, no, I'm not waiting 2.5 hours or whatever. But later on, just before this, I went on and it's like, 8 people, I'll wait for that. So I waited for the 8 people to get out of the way. And I eventually found out how much tickets were. Yeah. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
But why can't you find that out earlier on? Because you could be on there for 2.5 hours and get there and you think, that's how much I can't afford that.
A couple of things.
But it's really... I guess it's really, they put pressure on you by making you do that. You get there and you've spent all that time doing it, and you think it's too expensive.
Yeah, I'm not backing out now.
I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
That's what they want you to do.
It's a bit of that. So there's a bit of psychology. There's probably a bit of, I don't know. Do the prices change? Are they literally changing depending on how they're selling? Are they going up? More people buying them?
It's a possibility. I know Mr. Springsteen has attracted some ire in the States for doing that form of ticket selling.
Yeah.
I don't think this is. I think this is fixed, but I may be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not cool, is it? Not cool.
No.
Right, Women's World Cup. Right. So the final last weekend, fairly and squarely beaten, I would say. No arguments.
Much, yeah. No. But hey ho, the way I look at it is it's a final.
Exactly. Yeah.
The second best team in the world, and that's not too shabby. And Spain deserved it. And
no getting robbed on penalties or anything like that.
And there's less. There just seems to be, because it's the England team has gone about it in the right way for a change, and the public is less. I mean, all that dreadful crap that used to happen in the 2000s with the golden generation and the weight of expectation and the sheer arseholery that went around supporting England put me off a lot. I hated it at that particular time. But I can say that Mr. Southgate and Miss Wiekman have introduced a sort of element of sanity into supporting England.
And just got on playing football, right?
It's a much more positive thing.
You
recognise your limitations, and you accentuate your strengths. And if you win, you win, and if you don't, you don't. And that's the way it is.
It's a funny old game. So anyway, we won't have any more football content for a while, I shouldn't imagine.
No.
Forest Green Rovers are still losing, of course. So
so Sheffield Wednesday. So we'll just hang on to that.
We beat Chelsea last week, so that was nice.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, I think we'll call it a day, shall we?
Yeah, good one.
Thanks for listening in, folks, and we'll see you soon, if not before. Say goodbye, Captain.
Bye, Captain.
See you later.
Au revoir.